Hey, so it's Cara, and I put makeup on my face today, which is rare. My hair is still atrocious, but we have makeup on my face. That's something. That's more than I normally do. Um, but today we're going to be filming my June wrap up because June is over. It's now the 1st of July, and I'll be doing a quick little things I plan on reading this month. So a little TBR. It's not all encompassing. But there's 3 books I hope to get read, so we'll mention that as well. Okay, let's get started. So first off this month, I read Raging Heat by Richard Castle. This is the newest, I think it's the 5th book in the Castle series. Let me check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's the 6th book. I have read all the others, obviously, because I am now reading this one. And these are real great fun. I gave it 4 stars. They renew my love for the TV show every time I read one of these. These are obviously based on the Castle TV show. They're meant to be the books he writes in the show. If you haven't seen Castle, it probably makes no sense. Essentially, these are crime fiction, and they're probably not the best top of the range crime fiction, but they are really fast paced, engaging, and funny, like Castle. And these are really good. I really enjoy these. They're just great fun. Great fun. There is content probably not suitable for younger readers, but yes, I recommend these. Unless, though, they do take some getting used to because they've got the not wrong character names, but obviously they're the fictionalized character names of the characters on the show. So if you're used to the show, it may take a bit of getting used to because obviously they've all the characters in the show have been re-fictionalized. But yes, recommend. Great fun. Loved it. Then I read 100 Days by Mimsy Hale. This is an interlude press novel following, which you'll know all about if you've been watching my videos, and it follows Jake and Aiden, who grew up together since they were like 8 and have kind of been in love with each other since then too, but they haven't really been able to like talk it out and make it work. So they've both been too scared about it, and they go on this massive road trip trying to cover all 50 states in 100 days, and it just, it's so cute. Like, I did spend the majority of this book yelling and screaming, being like, just get together! What is your problem? That's a stupid problem! But it was so good. The tension and the sex and the everything. I would say this is like new adult level. Be warned, it's adult technically, but they're young, so they're college age, so new adult, kind of. But Jake and Aiden were both so adorable, and equally flawed and awkward, and I loved it. This was so good. Then I read the 5th Shadowhunter Academy story, called The Evil We Love by Cassandra Clare. I think it's the 5th one. I'm not going to count to check, but I think it was the 5th one. And I gave it 4 stars. Out of all the Shadowhunter Academy ones, it was probably pretty high up there, mainly because I'm here cheering for Simon and Isabel, which is not a spoiler, like, unless you are, so, it's not even enough. I'm not spoiling anything for you. But they're obviously set around in the Shadowhunter universe, and so far in the future that any content would technically spoil you. But they're adorable, and I really liked this one. I didn't necessarily like the backstory story, but I liked the cuteness, and I'm very excited for the next few because there are some upcoming ones that I am really excited for. Then I read The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. I have been sitting on this book for so long. Like, I started this like a month ago, and I only finished it this month because it's big, really. That's the only reason. It's big. It took me a while. And it also has a relatively slow start, like first third-ish. Interesting, but you don't see where the overall plot's going, and like it takes a lot of backstory. I did give this 5 stars overall because it was amazing. Like, the last part totally made up for the not great start. And it wasn't bad, it was just not fabulous. But this follows Lochlamora, who is a thief, and he's not just your regular small level thief. He's kind of thieving the upper levels that he's not supposed to be thieving, based on the rules of the underground network of thieves and other bandits and stuff. He's probably, like, he is kind of thieving all the other thieves by going one step further than they're supposed to, like, I say legally, but more like morally within the thief group. And he gets himself into a lot of trouble because of that, him and his group. And it is so good. Like, high fantasy, though magic is limited, like, the extent that magic is used is pretty low. So it's kind of like Game of Thrones level fantasy, where for the majority of most characters, there's not magic. But, so good. I'm really excited to pick up book 2 and 3. I already own them, but I'm excited to read them because this one was amazing. And the other 2 are longer than this one, which is scary. Yeah. Then I read Sun by Lois Lowry. This is the 4th and final book in the Giver Quartet. And if you were watching my wrap-up last month, I think, I found the 2nd and the 3rd books really difficult to read. Like, short, and I read them fast, but they were just boring and confusing, and I didn't see how it all tied together. And the magical realism elements did not appeal to me whatsoever. I really liked The Giver, which didn't have much of that at all. I didn't mind the magical realism in The Giver, but I didn't really like it in book 2 or 3. And I didn't really like it in this one either. It was just confusing and not well explained. But I felt this book overall, like, for the first little bit, was pretty boring. There was a bit of action closer to the end, but then it went really fast. And I don't know, overall my reading experience for this put me at a 4 stars. Like, I didn't mind it. I thought it was better than book 2 or 3. But, like, I don't know why I felt that way, because it was slow. And it was kind of boring. And the action was, like, right at the end and went super fast and didn't really make much sense. But I think I connected a lot better with the characters in this one than I did in book 2 or 3, kind of more like book 1, which was also slow, and the action all happened really fast. And I guess I did like it. I didn't love it, but I enjoyed this one a bit more than book 2 or 3. So yes, that is where I stand on this. If you don't know, The Giver follows Jonas in the society, and it's not even easy to explain. You've either read it before, or you've heard about it probably, or watched the film like I had. But yeah, I don't even know how to explain this series at all. It is so confusing. Then I read Go Your Own Way by Zane Riley, and oh my god, this is another interlude press novel. This I would definitely class as a new adult. This is like high school age, but like graduating high school, both over 18, mature content. Yes and yes. It follows Will here on the front and Lennox here on the back, and Will's like your normal band geek, trodden down gay boy at school. He's like bullied, and he's got fire in his gut and he's working against the bullies, but obviously it's not as easy as that. But they don't really bring him down too much, but they're ever present kind of thing. And then good old Lennox rocks up, and he's fresh out of juvie with an ankle monitor and has been dropped in the town to go straight, essentially. His grandfather's getting rid of him and getting him out of sight, and he is a bitter, resentful bad boy who smokes and has an ear full of piercings and the leather jacket and is just going there, like, is rude and crass and horrible, but really sexy, and they have a like love-hate romance going on. It is probably the best slow-build love-hate romance you have ever read. Like, I read this in its original fanfiction form and loved it. and I was really excited to see how it was adapted, and I think I like it more like this. I just, Zane Riley. This is also part 1 of 2, and I'm really excited to for the release of book 2 because I need more of this and need more of Will and Lennox in my life. So good. Looks at race issues, sexuality issues, and is just steamy and great. Read it. Go read it. Go read it. Yes. And then finally this month I read Salt and Stone by Victoria Scott. This is the second book in the Fire and Flood series, which everyone describes as the Hunger Games meets Pokemon. Personally, I see these things appear. Like, I understand where everyone gets the Hunger Games and Pokemon stuff coming from. But I also find it very similar to Rebel Belle, in that it's kind of written like a contemporary, but it has Hunger Game elements and Pokemon elements. It's weird. It really confuses me because I don't connect well with the main character at all, which meant like the first third of the book was boring as all hell because nothing was happening. I was just in the head of this character I didn't like. And then suddenly we get to like this far through and this last bit, and the action was all there, and the action was really interesting, and I loved it. So I gave this, what did I end up giving this? I ended up giving this 4 stars. I think I gave about 4 stars to the first book as well. Mainly because I don't like the main character Tella. I find her, like, kind of narcissistic and dry, not dry, but like, where she's meant to be charming and funny and relatable is where I find her flat and boring and, like, too Barbie doll-ish. Like, she's supposed to have depth. She's supposed to have strength. And I can see where that's attempted at, but, like, where it's supposed to be coming through, but I also don't really get it. Like, she's very, like, they'll be fighting in, like, against an avalanche, trying to survive, and she's talking about how she just wants to be home with her soy latte, like, Also, the romance was, kind of insta-lovey, like, I knew it was coming, I knew where it was being built from, but also there wasn't much done to build it. It was kind of just like, oh, now we love each other and he won't say anything about it. I don't know. So 4 stars purely because the action was well done, great. There was enough gory deaths to make me feel like I was enjoying this, Hunger Games style. And so I did give it 4 stars, but be warned, first bit is real boring, and the main character is a pain in the ass, and I don't like her that much. This month I also read quite a few short stories out of the Rogues anthology. I won't really talk about them because there's lots of them, and I have not finished the book, so I don't really know what my overall opinion is, but if you want to see what I've been thinking about each of the short stories, if you check out my Goodreads, my updates have all been like star ratings for each of the stories. So there's that. So these are the books that I read in the month of June. As you can see, there's not many compared to like my normal amount of reading skills for a month, especially considering as I'm technically on break, but for the first like 10 days I was doing exams, and then I had a little bit of a gap, but I was working on a novel, and then thanks books, thanks. After I finished revising my novel, I had guests staying for a week, and things just piled on, and suddenly I had like 10 days of the month to read, so probably a bit more than that, but I was very busy this month, so hopefully next month, I still have guests staying. I have new guests staying for a few days this coming month, and then I'm back to uni like halfway through the month. But it's start of uni, which hopefully means we won't be too busy, and I can try and get some stuff read. So let's get into my TBR portion. So of course I'll continue reading the Rogues Anthology by Gardner Dozois and George R. R. Martin. I've been reading one story between every novel I read, and that's how I've been slowly working my way through it. So we'll continue with that. That will continue. I'm currently reading The Raven Boys. I only really started this morning though, and we're in the first, so I didn't want to even mention it in my wrap up because it's nowhere near read. Like I'm barely started, but I'm about to go continue with this. This is the first in the Raven Boys. No, The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. And I've heard tons of beautiful, beautiful things about this. And I have the first two on my shelf. So I wanted to start reading this because obviously I suck at marathoning things. I don't like it. I get kind of bogged down and I don't enjoy all the books that well unless I'm like really invested. So I wanted a chance to read this and then the next one, and then I'm going to get my hands on the third one. So I wanted to start working on this because I've heard it's amazing and it's been on my shelf for like over a year. So I've had it for a long time, pretty much since it came out. So I needed to get on this, and I am enjoying it so far, even though I've only read like 50 pages. I also want to read The Magicians by Lev Grossman. If you watched my book haul, you would have noticed that I recently got the third one of these, so I'm hopeful again to read this first one. I may read more in the series this month, but as I just said, I'm not good at marathoning, so I won't bang 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 with 3 because it'll do my head in. It really will. But so I want to get started on this series, and I'm going to try and read this first one. Definitely. This will definitely happen. This I'm hoping to have read before I even get back to uni. And I'd also really like to read Night Film by Marisha Pessel. This is a thriller thing. I don't really know that much about it, but it is thriller. It's had really good reviews, and also it has like inserts. Literally anything with these kind of inserty things, like they're all through it. I've just got to find them because they're everywhere. Like anything with anything that's like inserted into text, I'm there. Like I don't know why. They just fascinate me. I like having that mixed medium reading experience, so I'm definitely gonna try and get this read this month also. And of course, I'll be reading the newest Shadowhunter Academy short story, obviously. Oh, Magicians, I didn't say what it was about. It's about like a college, post-high school college for magicians. It's like Harry Potter for adults. Everyone says different things are Harry Potter for adults, like the Night Circus is Harry Potter for adults, and the PC Grant novels Harry Potter for adults. But let's be real, this is like really Harry Potter for adults, much darker I've heard, but literally like college version Harry Potter. What more do you want? These are the books I want to read this coming month. We'll see what we get through, but I'll try and get a lot of stuff read this month, is my hope. I probably will not finish Rogues, because there are still like 15 stories to read, and I will not get that many novels read to get through that. But I will definitely read these 3, so look out for them in my wrap-up. So thank you for watching. I will see you soon with a few videos that I have planned, including a game video if I can, like a let's play if I can edit it well, which probably I can't, and a flick through of my art journal, which I'm really excited about filming, and probably some book tags and stuff because I have things planned over the next month, but you might not see them until like halfway through the month when I get back to high-speed internet. Yes. Hopefully you've had a good reading month, better than I did with any luck, and that you've read some good books. Let me know if you've read any of these down below, what you think, especially of the ones I've read, because I want to chat about most of them, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye!